The Honourable Nanaia Mahuta.
Mr Speaker, if that was a bid to retain Auckland Central, I'd say she's absolutely lost it. Mr Speaker, the member before me started her speech commenting on the riots in London. Underpinning that issue, all political commentators, all media commentators have said that it was caused by issues of racism, and underpinning the greater tensions over there in the UK is actually inequality. Rising unemployment, greater inequality in that country. All media commentaries have made statements on that, and political commentators as well. So it's very interesting that the member starts her speech with that and talking about a program of economic reform. If that is the case, then why hasn't it led to job growth? Why have we seen Māori and Pacific unemployment increase? Why have we seen unemployment increase under a program of economic reform by the national government? We have simply not seen any jobs whatsoever generated, and unemployment is increasing. Mr Speaker, while I'm lowering the decibels in the House with my contribution, it is a very serious issue that we're bringing to the table in terms of the issues of cost of living and how we need to address it. 73% of my electorate earn $40,000 or less. None, and very few, and none of them have received any benefit whatsoever from the tax cuts delivered by National. Every one of those earners in Hauraki Waikato pay tax on every dollar they earn, and they're not getting a fair shot at it from the national government. They simply are not. There are no new jobs. They're paying more at the checkout counter because of GST. And when you see people going to the supermarket and looking at the reduced to clear section of the supermarket, you know very well that people are feeling the pressure. When you go to the markets and you see those families juggling what are they going to buy with the minimal amount of money that they have at the markets, then you know that people are feeling the pressure. When you go to community houses and they are telling you simply that more and more families are opting to join the veggie co-op because they simply cannot afford to stretch the limited amount of dollars that they have got, then they are feeling the pinch. Mr Speaker, National is closing its eyes to the reality that families in my electorate feel every day, the pressures of juggling what they can do with their dollar. I went to a school in Pyron, and what they told me was that half of the kids in their school could afford to pay the stationery costs. The other half had to get a grant from work and income, which their parents paid back over time, to be able to afford stationery for their kids to be at school. And you know how much that they were getting a grant for? $30. Miller Road School in Pyron. Unbelievable. And the principal herself said more and more kids are coming to school hungry. I went to the Methodist Action community, and they said their food banks are bare. They are making calls out to the community to pledge every week to donate to their food bank, because quite simply, as soon as the food comes in, it goes out. Visiting the Anglican Action Trust, again in Hamilton, they will tell you time and time again the cost of living pressures are simply far too great, and this government needs to open its eyes and address the real issues affecting struggling families. And we're not just talking about low income, we're talking about modest income and families that are working. It's shifted. It has simply shifted, and unless National understand that, for all the rhetoric that they are saying about, you know, a great saving strategy and things like that, you talk to a family who is working, and they'll say, we simply don't have enough to even think about saving, let alone, you know, listen to what National has to say. And that is, in their words, not mine, Mr Speaker. So the cost of living pressures on families that are modest earners, that are low income, are very real and should not be underestimated, because it is our intention to ensure that in restoring greater equality in our society, greater redistribution of wealth through a fairer taxation system, greater effort and emphasis on investing in our kids, I think will make a huge difference and will resonate largely in the electorate. And I think the Speaker before me would do well to look at the issues of homelessness in Auckland City, actually. because you cannot, on the one hand, say that things are so great without looking at on the other side of the street and saying more must be done. This government simply has not opened its eyes to the real debate happening in each community about the pressures of cost of living, and they need to address it.
Speaker, and it gives me pleasure to be able to stand in this